Hello everyone, my name is Sarah Ritt. I'm an artist and a tarot reader. And lately, I've been working on healing a lot of old wounds that have blocked me from just really allowing my life to be fuller and allowing myself to feel more empowered and vibrant and whole in who I really am. And so I thought it would be interesting to just look at what some of the older wounds in this collective are all about, and how can we heal them? Or how can we move toward healing? What are the energies that are beneficial to healing? I feel like that's an even better way to put it, because it really shouldn't be about the pressure to heal something that goes so deep. And that's something I'm learning myself, is how to find ways to take it easy as I go, how to self-care, how to soothe. So I pulled many cards, and I actually am not using my usual V-shaped format. So this will be kind of free form and groupings of energies, and I'll just interpret and see what information comes to me, what I receive as I go. So the first part of this reading, we're just going to look at, again, what some of those older wounds are. Interestingly, the first grouping of cards, within them, we have Ace of Cups next to Two of Pentacles, so water and earth, and Ten of Cups reversed. Now, I feel as if there's a bit of a struggle, and this has come up in other readings. I feel as if there's a bit of a struggle to really allow ourselves to see ahead and feel hopeful about our future. And because we're working within the theme of older wounds, I have to acknowledge that this is something that goes very deep. And so even as we're in present time with this pandemic and just the utter craziness and tumultuousness of this year, 2020, a lot of what this is about is what this year is activating within us that we've experienced before. So what I'm seeing is that there's a struggle to find balance, and there's a struggle to trust that things are indeed working out for us, and that they can work out for us going forward. And again, that I feel as if that goes deeper even than it sounds. I mean, these are old wounds that speak to situations that we've gone through before that let us down, or that hurt us, relationships that fell through, situations in which we may have gotten our hopes up that disappointed us. And so if you think about this in terms of repeated disappointment, it really does make it that much harder to see the brighter future. And so this year is kind of a huge activator for some of that old disappointment and doubt and fear, right? So whereas Ten of Cups is such a future-oriented card and such a hopeful and loving and bright, beautiful energy, it's on its head here. And with Two of Pentacles, which is the earth element, is about, just kind of trying to maintain our day-to-day lifestyle and all of the practicalities that encompasses. I feel as if this energy can really start to weigh us down. It is right next to the Ace of Cups. And this is another really beautiful, it's different than hopeful. It's a card of fulfillment and inner peace and joy. I feel as if what this first message is speaking to, if you take these three cards together, is that the way in which we're having to function day to day, whereas we're able to find moments of peace, it's hard to really get our hopes up for things going well moving forward. I mean, I know that there's been talk of a second wave of coronavirus. I mean, that's a very powerful example of what does lie ahead, and is there a brighter future that transcends that kind of really grim feeling possibility. So I feel as if for some of us, probably for many of us, there's an activation within this year that makes us question whether we can have a brighter future with ourselves and with each other. You know, we're really having to maintain, we're really having to hunker down. And the upside is that I think it's really lovely that we're even able to find moments of peace and moments of joy. And I do feel like it's a really interesting sign that Ace of Cups was the first card to come up here. So that's the first message. The second, we have the Star, which is another really beautiful, uplifting, and inspiring card that speaks to who we really are. Us at our highest, our best, our most inspired. And then we have the Magician, which is all of that really transformative and powerful, kind of shape-shifting energy. But the Magician is on its head, next to Seven of Swords on its head. Now this is kind of a tricky energy here. And what this feels like to me, what this trio of cards is feeling like to me, is that for those of us whose wounds center on feeling disempowered within ourselves, it can just feel really hard to turn that energy around. So there is that feeling. This is something I'm also learning about my wounds. They come from a time in which I was younger and more vulnerable. And then they trained me into feeling disempowered. And so it's easy for our brains to kind of turn in on themselves and just repeat that pattern of old wounding. So what this message feels like to me is that for some of us, because of the ways in which we've experienced life and grown up, we've fallen into patterns in which our brains trick us into feeling like we have no power. So this goes back to just thought patterns that aren't helpful, ways in which we defeat ourselves, ways in which our brains can't fully process that we actually have the power to transform and really take hold of what we want in life and manifest in new ways that are exciting. So again, I find it really interesting that the Star is still right there. So it's as if all of our dreams are actually within reach. It's just that older wounding relates to the mind, which swords are about the mind. Swords are the air element. So again, it's as if our mind there are patterns within our mind that trick us into feeling disempowered, separate from who we really are. And speaking of the air element, these next two are also swords. So we have Eight of Swords reversed. Eight of Swords is, again, ways in which our thoughts trap us, ways in which we trap ourselves even as it's a temporary state of being. The illusion is that that just goes on forever. I feel stuck now, so I'm always going to feel that way. So any thought patterns that just make us feel up against a wall, like there's no way out, this is that energy coming through. Now it is on its head. It's next to Six of Swords, also on its head. Now this is a card about moving away from the difficulties in our own minds. Six is about balance and harmony. So there is a feeling of moving toward calm here, and it's on its head. And then we have the moon, which is also on its head. And so the way this last little trio feels to me, what these primary wounds are about for us is ways in which we forget what we really know to be true. Ways in which we discount things that our higher knowing actually calls toward us, which the moon is all about, that higher knowing. And so here, it being on its head, there's just this feeling of dulling our intuitive sense, dulling what we know to be true on a deeper level, and letting the mind get in the way here and here. There's just this feeling of, whereas if we turned this energy around, a lot of that mental stuckness would dissipate, because it's as if we'd be activating that deeper knowing and allowing that to guide us in new directions. So again, I feel as if these old wounds relate to just a lot of stuckness that we're feeling now. And I mean, I gotta say, it's 2020. It's the most natural thing in the world. And again, this stuff goes deep. So I feel like more than anything, it's about remembering our power and our ability to allow transformative energies into our lives, our ability to change and grow and heal. Maybe one of the most trying aspects of feeling these old wounds is that they present themselves as so real and so all-encompassing when they're not. And they even have a function, you know? We're just doing the best we can day to day. But the illusion of the wound is that that's all there is. And really there's just so much more. There's so much more. So, yeah, looking at the healing energies that we have the capacity to allow into our lives, the first card that comes up is Six of Swords, which is a really beautiful, direct, I feel, direct message that healing is entirely possible. And next to Six of Swords, we have the Hermit reversed and Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups, I often think of as kind of a psychic messenger, and so it's as if he's beckoning us to listen in, again, similar to the moon, to listen in to what we know to be true on deeper levels. Levels that kind of transcend the patterning of our minds, the patterning of whatever emotional wounding we've been through. And with the Hermit is also about calmer reflection. The Hermit is about taking a year like 2020 and finding a way to really listen in whatever way we can, tune out the chaos and listen in. So here it's reversed. There's a need for this energy that will provide us with the relief that will allow us to move forward. Hermit is also Virgo energy. So Virgo being an earth sign, there's something really beautiful about the idea of grounding into ourselves and allowing ourselves to really stand tall in who we are and listen in and be reflective and then see what beautiful messages we receive that are kind of like intuitive keys to moving in new directions. That's what I'm getting here. And then we have death on its head, next to Three of Pentacles, also on its head, and the Emperor upright. Emperor very much likes to have his own way, be his own boss. Emperor likes structure and rules and order, and the Emperor likes to have his own way and kind of be unto himself or oversee other people. But what I'm getting here is that it's not really about letting this energy hold as much sway as maybe it's been holding. So there's something really important about being able to let other people in on what's going on with us more of the time, because as we do that, and 3 is also a really beautiful number that speaks to communication. 3 of Pentacles is also about teamwork, and the words that are coming to me actually are order and strategy. But it fundamentally, there is something very important or integral to this energy around letting other people in, working with people as opposed to either against them or keeping yourself to yourself as we let other people into our lives. And of course, the right people. That goes back to intuiting who the right people are for us moment to moment. As we do more of that, we affect change within our own lives, which is very empowering. So it's that really beautiful balance between self and community, self and partnerships, self and divine partnerships. I know I've said before, for myself, 3 of Pentacles is also about partnering with my divine energy and allowing more of that to come through me, so that it's not just my ego doing this reading and feeling blocked off and, it has to be me. It can't work that way in order to be good at what I do. So letting other people in, and maybe more broadly speaking, letting other energies in, allowing that there are other more constructive energies that can counteract some of this stuck energy that we're experiencing. And again, it's so human and it's so natural to have this kind of wounding and to feel that stuckness. That's just the most natural thing in the world and the most natural part of life. But to allow for the empowerment that comes with letting go of some of this older energy and letting other people in. And also what I'm getting is letting them in new ways, allowing ourselves to feel our vulnerability and then feel our connectedness, to remember that we're not nearly as alone in what we're going through as we may feel we are. Again, at our lower points. Yeah. So as we do that, we affect really powerful changes within our lives. And it's as if we're opening ourselves up to all of those infinite possibilities that maybe were always right there, but we couldn't see them so clearly because of that patterning. So the next message I'm getting, or the next trio of cards, I should say, here we have the Lovers reversed, next to Page of Swords, and Seven of Cups. Now, the Lovers is a Gemini card, and it often feels like there's a lot of complexity with this card to me. Sometimes it can reference very directly a relationship, a sexual relationship, a romance. You have 6, so again, there's that theme of balance. Gemini is a communicative sign, so there's balance in communication, there's relational stuff, there's love and all of the ways that we choose to express love. And then there's also the theme with the Lovers of choice. And here it's reversed. And so the message that I'm getting is that in order to affect healing, we have to consciously choose that that's something we want. And there are times when these old wounds can feel really comfortable, and healing is the actual work. And so maybe we don't want to do the work. Maybe it feels easier to settle for whatever misery we're experiencing, whatever sadness. And there's a time and a place for that energy too, and to sit in that if we need to sit in that. But then there's so much power in being able to recognize that the importance of making the choice. It feels as if there's, I should say, the way this message reads to me is that in order to really get at this energy, which is this young page energy, he's wielding his sword, he's air. This page really loves to go after the challenges and to ask questions and to really feel his life force in enthusiasm for new projects and new explorations, I feel. And so, again, the way this reads to me is that in order to really embrace this energy, we will have had to make a choice that healing is something that we want. And also just that healing is something that we're ready for, that we're consciously ready for. And so there's a need to make that choice for ourselves. And then we have Seven of Cups, which is such an interesting card because there's so much going on in it. And there's often a feeling of confusion with this energy. There's all of these different things going on. And the challenge becomes, which cup is for me? Which is the real deal? What's the choice within this that's going to make me happy and fulfill me? And what's fluff? A lot of it looks like fluff, illusion, smoke and mirrors. The other part of this, though, is that there's a lot of options going on. And so there is something really positive about recognizing that there are a lot of options. There are a lot of possible paths to go down, and there's really no wrong path here. It's just that some of them may feel more right than others. So this page is very eager to tackle this energy. So what I'm getting here is that, again, healing is a choice, and to be able to move forward consciously involves clarifying again, to me this feels like some of the illusion and confusion that feed this stuckness. So again, it really feels like to make this conscious choice for ourselves means tackling some of what was maybe before impenetrable feeling and finding new clarity as we go, finding the better choices for ourselves, finding the power in our own functioning, and even finding the power in our clearer thinking, because this energy can exist right alongside this, and there are better days and there are worse days, and that's a part of those old wounds too. It's really interesting the way life shows us how these two things can be side by side. But as we consciously choose to move in new directions and explore new territory, everything else that we've been through becomes clearer. It's actually a really beautiful paradox the way that happens. So yeah, it means that a lot of this can fall away as we become clearer in ourselves and our thinking going forward. So I hope that this reading has been of benefit to you watching, and I hope that it resonated, or parts of it resonated. And I also just wish you all a satisfying and fulfilling journey forward, recognizing that there is indeed hope going forward, even as we're not always going to be able to see that because of our life experience. The energy is still there, waiting to be tapped into. So, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe again if this resonates for you. And bye for now.